So what's up, YouTube? We're back with another video for you guys. Before we start, we want to give a huge shout out to my little brother, to our little brother Rob, and our new little sis Janera.
Lovely Janera,
who just got engaged. They did it at their baby shower, and they have a baby on the way as well in a few weeks.
Yeah.
Baby J. Great name. So, huge shout out to them. The way he did it was amazing. It was such a special moment. Check it out.
Read it loud.
Oh gosh. Here's to you, to baby, and to all sweetness to come. Love, Daddy and Jay.
Aww.
I love y'all too.
I'm sorry.
Hey. Mommy.
So we back, and it was so awesome the way he did it, right? Everyone was crying, and everyone was
Except
happy
for
for
me.
him.
I'm a G.
Yeah, my little brother cried too. He said he wasn't gonna cry, but he cried.
Why would you tell me?
You might have saw it. He did this a couple times, but
He had
said he
something in
wasn't
his
gonna cry.
eye. He ain't cry.
Right. So this week we want to talk about how do you know you're ready. So we want to thank Rob and Janera for giving us the topic for this week. Inspiration. So we want to talk about how do you know you're ready? How do you know when you're ready for marriage?
When you're ready for marriage.
Right.
Let's see. Well, I think one of the things that you have to keep in mind is that as a Christian, it's not something that you should feel or even think, but it's something that you know. And I think with the presence of the Holy Spirit and Him leading and guiding you, is one of those things where it shouldn't be, God doesn't deal in maybes. And so when I thought about this topic, I thought about how God is very definitive when He gives us answers about things, and it's up to us to accept them. And so a lot of times we're either working towards something that God hasn't ordained for our lives, and that's why it feels like we're pushing a square into a circle with some relationships. And then other times, I remember with Jeremy, it felt so smooth. And I kept thinking, what's wrong? Like, when is he going to show me that he's crazy? Or when is he going to show me that something is wrong with him? Because it felt like it was so smooth. But the reason why it was so smooth is because God was in it. He was at the center of it. He had orchestrated it. And so everything just seemed to flow and to fall into place because it was our time. And it was not only the time, but also the fact that He had ordained the two of us to be together.
Right. All in all, no one really knows when they're ready for marriage. You really don't know, right?
Yeah.
It's a question I ask my little brother all the time before he proposed. You sure you're ready? You sure you're ready? You sure you're ready? And he will always say, yes, I'm ready. So we never really know when we're ready for marriage. What I can say is that no one can tell you when you're ready or if you aren't ready, right? I think for men, we have to be at a certain level of maturity where we know that we're now going to have to be responsible for someone other than ourselves, right? We all know overall women mature faster than men, right? In general, we're going to say in general, not in all cases, not in mine, not in all cases, but we're going to say, in general, women mature a lot faster than men. And with women, a lot of times women are usually ready to get married much sooner than men are. Why? Because when they're kids, their mom is basically showing them the way on how to be a good spouse, how to be a good wife, how to be a good potential mother, right? So they put all these things into their heads, and they see all these things on TV, these big weddings, these fancy weddings, and marrying their Prince Charming. So women, they already from a young age, they already have this mentality that I'm going to get married, right? I want to be married. Like, that's what I want. I want that life. Men, on the other hand, we're just like, look, when it happens, it happens. A lot of times, like I know one of my boys, he said, I'm not getting married till after 40. That's what he planned to get married. And my age, I had an age in mind as well. So, but
what was your age?
My age was 27, and I actually fulfilled that. I got married at 27 to this beautiful thing here. But my age, when I was younger, I wanted to get married by the time I was 27. My boy, he wanted to get married at 40. He said he wanted to get married to after 40, but now he's engaged now. So shout out to him. I guess he still could get married after 40, even though he's engaged. But I don't think his girl will let. I don't think his girl will let that happen. But we have to be at a certain level of maturity when we're ready to say, okay, I'm going to be responsible for this person. I don't have to look elsewhere anymore. All the goals that I set for myself, I can't see myself achieving those goals without this person that I'm with now. Not to say that you need that person to help you achieve those goals, but I can't see myself going any further in life without this person by my side. And knowing that that person is the only person you really want to be with emotionally, spiritually, physically for the rest of your life, right? And for men, the Bible even tells us that it's much better to marry than to burn with passion, right? So as believers, we shouldn't be fornicating, right? So the Bible speaks of marry that significant other, marry that woman. That way you don't have to burn with passion. That way you don't have to be living in sin. So it's all these different things that let us know that we're ready for marriage. But essentially, you control that, right? You have the ability to tell yourself, or you control whether or not you're ready for marriage. No one can tell you if you are and if you aren't. And we have to be mindful that even though you might think you're ready for marriage, when you get in that marriage, you might say, oh, I wasn't prepared for this, right? So it's constantly it's constantly a process that you're learning and you're growing and you're better preparing yourself for that marriage. We said this in one of our videos a few weeks ago. Go check it out, by the way, if you haven't seen it. But relationships and marriages are work. So you may think
full-time jobs.
Full-time. So you may think right now, oh, I'm in a relationship and I'm working. But trust me, once that ring get on that finger.
Don't do all that, though.
Trust and believe. Nah, for real though. Once the ring get on the finger and once you guys share last names, share a house, share bills, that's when the real work starts. And that's when you really have to buckle down and say, okay, I'm either going to do this or I'm not. In most cases, like, it's either the only choice you have is to do it. Like in our case, divorce is an option. So we need to make this thing work one way or another.
And so there's kind of two ways I think that the Bible instructs us from either side that you should know that you're at least kind of leaning toward being ready. I think on the woman's side or the wife's side, it's about whether or not you are ready to submit. And so are you ready to submit to, you should already be submitting to the will of God for your life. You should already be, and so once you're already in the practice of submitting to the will of God, the only thing that happens is that your husband is inserted into that relationship. And so as he's following Christ, you're supposed to be following him. And so submission should be a practice that you are essentially used to, although inserting him into that relationship is not that easy because you're not used to that. And it's a new factor. It's a new thing. It's a new way of conceptualizing your relationship. And one of the things that I tend to share with some of my friends, married friends, is that, my submission to him, my relationship with him is a form of worship to God now. That's something that I have to do. And the same way that I honor and praise God through song, spend time with God in my word and devotional time, it's the same thing. Me honoring him by washing his gym clothes is a form of worship to God because that is what we've agreed to do in our relationship. That's what I've agreed to do as his wife. On the flip side, a man has to be willing to lead. He has to be ready to lead. And if he is not spiritually ready to lead, that is the ultimate way, but also in all those other capacities of the household, then he's not ready to be married. And so one of the things that we should be looking for, ladies, is if a man is not showing you that he is spiritually leading you, meaning that he's willing to pray for you while you're dating, He's willing to say, let's go to church, let's go to a church event or something like that while you're dating, while you're courting. He's willing to have you honor Christ by not defiling your body in any way or his own. He's ready. And so it's not necessarily that you just say, oh, there's this button that goes on that says I'm ready. But God has given us indicators, good flags and bad flags about whether or not someone is ready to move on to the next step.
Yeah, so that was good. That was good stuff right there.
Good.
So yeah, man, if you don't feel like you're ready to get married, I mean, I guess at this point you need to get ready. All right. Like I said,
and if
control
you're not
that.
ready, that's okay.
That is okay.
Right? But it's all about getting to where God wants you to be, right? It's not necessarily, I don't necessarily believe it's God's will for everybody to be married, do you?
It's not. And the Bible talks about that. About it being okay not to marry. Mm-hmm. Like for some people, that's your destiny. That's your God-given destiny that you aren't supposed to be married. So it's okay if you're not married, if you end up not marrying in your lifetime. Mm-hmm. But if you're ready to be married and
that's a desire,
you have that and you had that significant other, then why wait any longer? Marriage is a beautiful thing.
It's a beautiful job.
It's a beautiful job, and it's the best job you can ever have. Especially when you're walking in God's path, walking in God's favor, walking in God's will. You'll see all the manifestations that He has for your life truly come to fruition. Thank you for watching the video this week.
Get ready.
Make sure you hit the like button.
I do my TD Jakes voice?
No. Subscribe.
Tell your friends. Share the video.
Congrats again to Rob and Janera.
Congratulations.
We're signing off. We out.